guys, so today our activity is going to be bringing together painting and drawing to create a really cool abstract piece of artwork. So this is kind of what we're going to be doing today. So as you can see, we're going to be putting colour down first as our base layer, and then we're going to be drawing on the top. So I've used watercolours paints here. And if you don't have access to watercolours, I have heard that food dye can be a really good substitute, or if you've got acrylic paints, you can water them down, or of course you can use whatever materials you have at home, whether that be colouring pencils, you can just draw and colour in shapes, or the same with felt tip pens, or collage. If you've got some really nice bits of coloured paper that aren't shiny, you can cut out shapes and stick them down. Okay, so if you are painting, I would recommend that you work on quite a thick piece of paper or card. If the paper's too thin, then the paint will just seep through. Okay, so if you're using paints like me today, you just need some water and a paintbrush. So I'm just going to whack the paint on and I'm just going to let it do its thing. So I'm not going to worry too much about shapes or where the colours go in. Really bright and colourful. The really lovely thing about watercolour paints is that the more water that's on your brush, the more the paint is going to merge into one another, which looks really nice. So I'm just going to bring it up. And it's okay if the paint runs or goes into one another, that can look really cool. Try a bit more blue. And of course yours doesn't have to be a picture of a vase of flowers, it could be a landscape, a portrait, or it could just be abstract. You can just fill in the gaps and go over the colour with just patterns, whatever you fancy. Let's let it drip. There you go. It can look really cool. And just carry on doing. You can put just water down and then just blobs. You can splatter the paint. You can just do it in one kind of concentrated area here, like I did with my other one, because that's where my flowers are going to be, or you can fill the whole page. It's completely up to you. Can move it, and it's okay that it's merged. So what you can do, if there's quite a lot of water on there and you just want to get rid already on your table, you can just dab some away. Okay, so you would just want to leave that to dry before you draw over the top. So I'm just going to put that to one side. And this is one that I did earlier, slightly lighter in colour, but that's okay. And it's dry for us to draw on. So you can use whatever kind of pens you've got, biros or felt tip pens. I've got two here. I've got a felt tip pen, which is a bit of a thicker nib, and I've got a fine liner pen. So I think I'm just going to stick with flowers, so I'm just going to draw over the top. So you can use your kind of colour as like a guide as to where you're going to draw. And you don't have to use black ink, you can use whatever colour you want. So that's one flower. Oh, kind of do lots of little flowers. Really fill in those spaces. There you go. Again, you could literally just do patterns if you wanted to and make it really abstract. It would look really cool. Let's do a really big flower here to fill in that space. Because all flowers can be all different shapes and sizes. And there's lots of tutorials online on things like YouTube that can show you how to draw different flowers that you can follow. Fat petals, thin petals. You can add a bit of wildlife, butterflies, bees, little insects. Do one more big flower. So I've used my fat felt tip pen here, and you can always use your thin fine liner to get even more extra detail in. This is just what I'm doing here, look. And why not? Let's add another colour, shall we? See what happens. I guess you could always get a felt tip pen which matches the colour that you're drawing on. That would look quite cool. Okay. I've just put some blue felt tip pen there. Okay, now all of these flowers, of course, need stalks. So let's maybe a few leaves as well. Little flowers, lots of little stalks. Okay. Of course, let's add a really nice vase. It could be just a simple kind of clear like jar here, or of course you can add lots of extra pattern to your vase as well, whatever you wanted. Let's go for a slightly more subdued colour. I'm going to go for a grey. And let's put a bit of pattern on, shall we? So you can just keep adding and adding. So there you go, guys. There is your abstract piece of artwork. Have fun!